How much would you allocate to safe haven assets now?
Look, I think it's not just a question of safe haven assets. I think people have to understand where their money is and how it gets compensated for the risk it carries. So when you have a 20-year yield curve in Japan, which pays you 8 basis points, probably you'll not get covering anymore for your capital costs of investment. So the question is why you are there. And I think you have many other areas. If your VIX index is at 9, then you have to ask yourself, how much risk is really incorporated in the valuations of your equity markets. And I think from that point of view, I think most people have far too optimistic pictures on that, particularly in an environment where actually the world is changing fast. If you look back 6 months ago, the world was talking about 6 interest rate increase in the United States, and the market's been rallying on the back of higher interest rates. And everybody was hoping that Mr. Trump would be the solution to the problem. In the meantime, we've given up almost all the gains we've seen in many of the markets, not in everything, but in a lot of the markets. The dollar particularly has been coming back as the ideology that we have now a booming economy has collapsed. GNP numbers been close to 0.6, 0.7% versus 2% in Japan all of a sudden, instead of no growth in Japan, 2% growth in Europe. And so we've gone from a high growth number in the United States to a number which is below actually the low growth economies.
So if you look at the fundamentals, if you're looking at those growth numbers, is your advice to follow the growth numbers and follow that macro data?
Not just the growth numbers, but growth gives you ability to pay for your debt, and it allows you basically to have a certain contribution on earnings growth. If you don't have a 1% growth number and you have inflation at 2% and you've got to cover your debt obligation, which looks horrific in the United States, so why would you still invest in the US dollar? And so as this trade unwinds, a lot of leverage gets unwound because we are living in a highly levered world right now, so that the moves are getting much bigger and much sharper, and so you can't really invest into a low vol structure with a VIX at 9 and hope that you're going to be safe.